The following program is brought to you by the Internet Broadcasting Organization.
This is Straight Up with Toby Martini. I am Toby Martini, and in this show, we talk about a few different things. What it's like to be an entrepreneur, how do you be in business today? Sometimes the psychology of what's behind it. How do you be successful? How do you make more money? Let's go find out. All right. Hi, everybody. Toby Martini. This is the big show. It's Straight Up with Toby Martini, and wow, I'm looking at a video. I'm kind of blue. Maybe it's the blue shirt or the blue lights. I'm not sure. But I'm not feeling blue. I want to talk to you today about doing something different. I had mentioned for a few weeks that this show was going to change its format, and I think it's going to change even more radically than expected. There was this idea about doing this business breakdown, like having Ken Queen come in, good guy, consultant. Him and I have talked a bunch. He's helped me with a piece or two of my business. I've helped him with some. But between those talks and some thinking on my own, and I've got a coach too, and having my businesses, I run like 5 different lines of business, and I need to stop doing some in order to make a few of them better. And so this show is kind of an anomaly. It's a little different than the rest. And it's talking about business. Like, I know a lot about various aspects of business. And, like everybody, I don't know most everything about it. I know a couple of pieces really well. And I think I'm going to stop talking about all of the rest. And I'll tell you more later. This is a little bit of a tease about what this show's going to look like and the people I'm looking for. I need to find some other people who are like me in a particular way. And if you're that kind of person, then you're going to want to connect with me, and we'll talk about that. We'll make up a plan. I don't plan. I just do stuff. Before I do that, right, because this is the same show for now anyway. I do have sponsors, and so if you're a business person who needs a little help with some aspect of it, some piece of it, check out SCORE at, if you're in the Tampa Bay area, go to pinellascounty.score.org. And you get a counselor, mentor, whatever they want to call themselves. I think they go with mentor now. And in any aspect of business, there's somebody there who's been through it, who knows how it works, and can help you. And so SCORE is really good. It's real generous. It's a group of volunteers who really just help out because they've done their work, and now they're trying to give some back. So check out SCORE. If you're not in the Tampa Bay area, you can just find it at score.org. But for your local one, which is a great bunch of people, I really like them. I hang out when I can. I do a couple workshops for them too. It's pinellascounty.score.org. And my other sponsor has been New Urban Suites, which is a cool office space down in Ybor City. And I said it a dozen times. At some point, get out of your kitchen, get out of your home office. Even if you have a set up, dedicated place that's just your office, it's too easy to be comfortable. It's too easy to kick back and relax. And maybe you don't get as much work done as you could or should or want to. It's too easy to be relaxed on the phone and not have a good energy, a good connecting energy, a good sales energy. So I really want you to get out of your house. And Starbucks and stuff is a pain, right? That maybe it's good wireless, maybe it's not, but just it's so noisy and there's lots of people around. You might end up, talking too much. That's my problem with those. Get an office space. Ybor's nice. It's in the middle. Brandon, Carrollwood, St. Pete, it's kind of good. So check out newurbansuites.com and talk to Angela and tell her I said hi. Okay. So that's sponsors, and it may or may not be the sponsors going forward, right? I'll talk to them, but will they want to sponsor a show that's not a complete business training show? They might. We'll see. But I hope you've enjoyed what we have been doing here for a year and a half, right? I really liked doing it. It was a chance for me to talk out loud, speak some things into existence that I can now use for my book. It's connected me with a lot of good people. I've had a lot of good guests on. It made me happy. And I hope it's been valuable. I've had some feedback from people saying, something they learned one day is something they used in their business and they did better. And the best bit is not necessarily a strategy or a tactic, but a they see things differently, or they were inspired to go do some work. One of the best bits happened just in my second week of doing a show, where I got an email and then a call from somebody who actually was on the edge of losing her job and then really did quit because she was inspired to go do something. And I think she actually did take a part-time job, but the idea was it gave her enough time and a little bit of money so she could go start her own business, which is just awesome, right? Sooner or later, we're all going back to getting our own businesses. There will be less people working as cogs in the machine. So here's what I want to talk about today. And I'm talking to a very specific, very small group. And I want to know if you are one of these people, then I'm going to want you to get in touch with me. Or if you know someone who is just like this. And it looks like this. If you've heard any of my stuff, come to any of my events, listen to this show, you know I'm an improviser. Yes, on stage, I have been. I don't do that anymore, right? I'm not a performing improviser. But everywhere in life, I'm an improviser. I improvised how my relationships work. I improvise most of my business. When I go do speeches, mostly it's improvised. I know my intro. I know my outro maybe, right, to be interesting. And I know the topics I'm going to talk about because the people have said, here's what we're interested in. Here's what we need. And I figure out how to deliver that. But it's not written anywhere. Right? It's all just stuff in my head, and it comes out in various nuggets and modules like that. But I've been running my business, both of them, trying to figure out, how do I create systems? How do I create structure? What do I need to do? Like, I'm a good marketing person. I'm great at the communication, the language, the vibe. How do you talk to people? How do you write the right words? But I'm not good at having a marketing plan. You know what I mean? Like planning how it's going to work in 6 months and 12 months. It hasn't been my style. And I will tell you, right, working with a coach, like, she really got me looking and going, you hate it, right? You're mad because you don't get that stuff done, but you don't get it done because you don't like it and you think you have to do it. I don't know that she said it exactly that way, but that's what I've come to. I think I have to run a business in a certain way. And I have written a blog post about that. I think I might have talked about it. I did. I talked about it a couple weeks ago. But I'm more clear now how running my business, right? Because we don't have any education in it. No colleges had an entrepreneurial track. They had business, but that was always teaching you how to go work for a big company. As an entrepreneur, you have to teach yourself everything. You need to know about accounting and marketing and sales and customer service and production, everything, budgeting and scheduling, all of that stuff. Then you also have to learn some discipline. How do I get this stuff done? And you have to learn to be social. How do I network? How do I connect with people? There's a lot to learn. Everybody is good at some pieces naturally, right? The accountant person, they're good at their accounting, so they're good doing everybody is good at what they're technical about, right? That's the E-Myth. The accountant is a good technician. I'm a good speaker and workshop person, right? So you're good at your work, but the other stuff. So the accountant is good at accounting for others, but he also has his own accounting handled, right? A speaker, she might be good at her speaking, and that helps her be good at networking, right? That helps her with her sales because that's part of the same thing. But it's those other parts. And in learning all of that, what I did, and I know so many entrepreneurs do, some of us are readers. So I went and I read 100 books, Brian Tracy and David Allen and Michael Port and the Heath brothers and Michael Cialdini. I mean, I really like some of these books for the psychology of it. And what I gathered, I look and I say, oh, that's how you run a business. These people are telling me systems and structures. If I do that same thing, I could run my business better. Like, listen to Tony Robbins, right? Model success. Find who did that work and it works really well for them, and then do that same. That should help you. And somehow in my business as a business person, I've become a conglomeration of all those folks. Seth Godin too, right? It's good stuff. Take the various pieces and try to make it work for me. But the problem is I'm not those people, right? I'm not like Michael Port. I am not like Brian Tracy. Brian Tracy in the disc world is a C, right? He's people. No, he's task-oriented and conservative. I'm people-oriented and impulsive. And so his structure that works so great for him doesn't work for me. And so I mentioned that last time, but now I'm leaning into it strong. I do have some help to handle some stuff that has to happen, right? You outsource accounting, right? But I'm just leaning into winging it completely, right? And I always say wing it and win and come to improv and it's great. And I've always told people to be two-headed about it. Yes, you should plan. Planning matters. Plans don't matter, but planning matters. Knowing where you're going is helpful. But I always say, all right, do that because it's important and be ready to improvise. You need to be able to handle it when stuff goes wrong or something unexpected happens, good or bad. And so I'm like playing both sides of the fence. And I'm getting to completely, why would I improvise my relationships and my speaking and my just how I operate in the whole world, except for this one area where I have to be so rigidly structured. So here's what I'm looking for and why. There are other people like me, right? There are people out there. I had an after lunch meeting with somebody today who's very like that. Well, two people. One's 70% like that, and the other one's 90% like that. And it is about, you're not wrong. I'm not wrong. I'm just not those people. If I look at all of those books, I go, those are great ideas for a lot of people. And the common thread, the common thing that people say, Eric Lofholm I mentioned before, sales trainer, and R.V. Robinson, a speaker trainer, they both say the same thing. She got it from him, I think. But if you wing it, you get wing it results, right? Most people do. And I'll tell you what, for me, it's different. And for some small number of people, maybe it's you, right? There's some small number of us who not only can we handle it by winging it, we're better than if we prepare. I am literally better than if I prepared. Now, in doing keynotes, when I have written out a speech and broke it down into parts and try to remember the parts and what are the sections and how's it going to look, and I write something that sounds oh so smart, right? It's such a great turn of phrase. During the speech, I'm trying to remember my perfect turn of phrase. I'm totally in my head. I'm trying to remember. I'm going back to it. And that speech, well, I don't think I've ever flopped, like terribly. But that was the worst speech I think I've done. I did okay, but I was so concentrating on getting it right. And contrary-wise, my most recent one I went to and I said, do not prepare, right? You know how to open with enthusiasm and you know how to close with a message or a call to action. And these people want these three subjects talked about. That's all I prepare, literally 5 minutes. Yeah. And then I go out and I just pull out of my head the stuff. And I'm not praising me. I'm not a genius. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that style is my own personal genius. It is how I can be my best. Somebody else needs to write it all out, practice it 50 times. R.V. Robinson, she says this, right? You have to practice an hour for every minute of your speech or something like that. And some people really do. They want to know those words inside and out, up and down. I get it. It's just not me. All right. I was talking to a couple of them over the last year, the world champions of public speaking. I've spoken with Ed Tate and Lance Miller, Darren LaCroix. There's another, I think, in that mess. And so these are people who've won world champion of public speaking in different years. Sponsored by Toastmasters International, which is, right, the speaking organization. And those guys, boy, I wish I remember the other guy's name. I will in a minute. They will say, practice your speech so you know it. And once you deliver it, you can get feedback. And then you can do the speech better at the next level. Like if you win, then we'll tweak your speech and figure out how do we make it a little bit better. I get it. I see how you can take something and make incremental good change. But I also see that I would never get to that stage. It's not a goal for me because it's not my style. I'm not a methodical do it again person. If you see me give a speech and you say, that's great, I would like you to do that same speech for my people, I would love to do it. But you're going to get a speech that's about 75% the same. Maybe, right? 75% if you're lucky. It's going to be different because I'm in a different space. Your people, your company needs to hear a different sort of thing. And maybe I learned something in between. A different story focuses a little better, brings out something else a little better, right? So I'm not going to be the world champion of public speaking, I don't think. I have in the very next room, Sean Purvis, who has been to the semifinals of the International Speech Contest twice, I think. Maybe 3, but at least twice. He's a good writer. He's been a stand-up comic, so he knows how to write and how to write funny. And he's good at practicing something and then tweaking it, practicing it and tweaking. Congratulations. I hope he wins next time. I think that would be great. But for me, I just don't do it that way, right? And I can look at that and go, oh, I'm doing it wrong. And those public speakers will say, yeah, you're kind of doing it wrong. I'm doing it wrong to do what you do. Yeah. And so I'm asking you, if you're listening, right? Do you feel like you're at your best without preparation? Do you feel like I should just do something, right? Just put me out there and let me go. I'm smart enough. I'm enthusiastic enough. I'm good with people. I know it will be okay, right? You have to be positive and futuristic. I think about the future in glorious terms. It will always work out. If you're that kind of person, I want to talk. Yeah. I want to create something. I'm not sure what it is. I've been working on a book. It's called Wing It and Win. You might have heard that. Yeah. I do my workshops. It's called Wing It and Win workshops. And it's about how do you handle when stuff doesn't go right? How do you step forward not knowing how things are going to go? How do you just do that boldly? Because I know it's going to work out. Yeah. So I'm working on it. And I want to find some folks. Maybe I can use your story in my book. Maybe we form a mastermind. Maybe we find a way to support each other, because I think if you're out there like that, thinking you're the only one who's wrong, everybody else is scheduling and you're not, and you read the book and go, God, that does sound good. And you try and you start and you try 50 different productivity tools. You try Trello and Basecamp and Asana and the Wave and Work, etc. And there's a million, right? And you try it and you go, I see how this is valuable. And then a week or two later, you're not using it, right? You just don't do it because it's not you. It's not your personality, right? And one of the easy things to do is start to think that you're wrong. You're weird. You need to do it the way others do, because that's how you be successful. And I'm here to tell you, right? You're not the only one who thinks that way. It is slightly weird, right? It's unusual. It is, 5% of people, 2%? I have no idea. But even if it's 2% of all the people, it's 300 million people in this country, right? There's got to be 60,000 people then who, I'm not real good with the math. Gary, quick, check my math. I'm not, you don't have to really. But if there's 60,000 people who are like that, who really honestly go, you know what, I should just wing it. I should just make stuff up and see how it works, because I know it'll be fine. If there's 60,000 in the country and I can get 20,000 who can like each other and support each other and be some sort of a, mastermind, some sort of a networked group who, if nothing else, can look at each other and go, you're not crazy, you're cool. That's an awesome thing you can do. Because there are people who wish they could do what you do. Right? You might miss that piece. But people who are quieter, people who are task-oriented, people who are more reserved, they wish they could go out and just talk to anybody. They wish they could just go out and stand in front of a group and talk confidently about what their thing is, because they know their subject. They're just scared of people, and they're not sure how it's going to work out, and they don't want to look dumb and blah, blah, blah. But maybe you don't have that fear, or maybe you have a little bit of rumble in you, but you go, it's okay. It'll work out, right? So I want those people, if that's you, really, I want you to contact me, right? Toby at tobymartini.com. Go to my website, contact me through email there. That's the best thing to do. I think I might even have a phone number on it, But connect with me through email and say, yeah, I'm totally that way. I'm an improviser, professional or not, on stage or not. That's not what I mean. There's a lot of improvisers who are, they're actors, right? Who improv great on stage, but that's not how they're living their life, right? Maybe they have a structured life. Because I know for sure, having done workshops and having run auditions for years, tons of computer programmers come to improv, and they do pretty well. And some piece of it is, they have this structured, organized brain that they've used for a really long time, and they come to improv and they find out, wow, there's this whole hunk of their brain they haven't really been using, And so they like it, and they can be good improvisers, but that's not who I'm looking for, really. I want somebody who's that way for everything. They improvise, what are we doing tonight? They improvise, how's the class going to go? I don't know, let's see how the first one goes, and then we'll build around it. I've talked here about Alex Wadsworth. Hey, Alex. Kind of in running this studio, running Talkwad Studios, I've commented here on this show a bunch of times how I like that he goes, oh, yeah, let's just try that. Let's see what works. And if that works, we'll do more of that. Talking about you, Alex. On the radio, I'm talking about you live right now. Nope, you're not on. Ha! Now I can talk about you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
I don't. Oh, there it is.
Wow.
Oh, and the man has spoken.
Yeah. So I was just talking about how some folks can wing it and some people can't, and how I've used you over this last year talking about, as an entrepreneur, I really appreciate the fact that you'll go, I don't really know how that's going to work. Let's try it.
It's an investment, is the way I've been saying it to people.
Yeah.
I wing it. I invest, because when you're like, for example, as my background a little bit was a stock market.
Yeah.
So when I went into the stock market, you don't know how it's going to go. It could crash tomorrow.
Yeah.
But it was an investment. It's a risk.
Yeah.
So, listening to your show, watching your show, talking to you, being creative, things like that.
Right.
So,
but I mean, even outside of that, like an investment, yeah, it is your time and effort. But I like the piece where you can look at something and go, I'm not sure how this is going to work out. Let's go. Right? That's my thing, and that's what I'm talking about today, right? Like, I don't know how it's going to work out, but let's try it and see how it works. And if it works a little, we'll put more behind it.
That's right. Agree with that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Cool. So that's the show today, is all about even more than ever winging it and embracing it as a whole thing. You can wing everything. And it's kind of kooky because having all these years of that, you should have structure, and reading these books and going to seminars and listening to these speakers who are saying, here's a structure, here's a system, this will help you, and trying so hard to make it work. And all it does is give me agita, right? All it does is make me upset because I'm trying to do somebody else's system. And so, look, if you know somebody who does wing it all the time and they're pretty good at that, especially if they're in business. I want somebody who's in business more than an employee sort of person. But if you know someone and they are that way, and I don't mean funny necessarily, although they're often in common, they don't have to be a funny person. They just have to be somebody who doesn't use structure, doesn't love systems. We all have some around us, right? We can't all be anarchists driving on the wrong side of the road or doing whatever you want. But somebody who, when there's some work to be done, they dive in and they start working, and because they know they will figure it out as they go. I want those people, and we're going to create something pretty awesome. And it's also got me, re-inspired to get my book done. I had a sales presentation this week, and it was to a bunch of salespeople, and it went great, and they loved it. And after it was done, the guy was like, wow, great close, right? Some guys, as I closed, quote unquote, the CEO and just made the agreement, they were inside, great close. I didn't walk in with closing in my mind. I don't have 3 great closing techniques in my head. I just made the thing sound valuable, and they go, oh, of course we need that, right? And so they asked me, when can we do it, right? And so that sort of thing I didn't prepare for, and it works out great. I'm looking for people who can do that. That's the deal. And so I guess my request again is share this with somebody you know who you think is that way. And if they listen to me and they go, yeah, I wish I had that. I wish I had that. I am like that. And I guess it is okay. It's all okay, right? It's all okay. It only sucks if you are one way and you're trying to be another. If you are, this is how you operate in the world, this is how you operate your best, and you're trying to use somebody else's system, or you're trying to use their personality, right? I was talking to a friend of mine today about that, about you strong arm your personality when you have to. Maybe you don't have to, right? An example would be an introverted, quieter person who goes out networking, and they strong arm their personality. They beat it down. They go, look, I'm normally quiet. I normally don't like people, but I'm going to go be an E. I'm going to be extroverted, right? A cultivated E. And you could do that, but I don't recommend it. Stop squashing. Stop, strong arming your personality. Use what you have and use it well. And so this is a clarion call for you improvisers, for you I's in the world of disc, right? You are influencers. You're people-oriented and you're fast. You're people-oriented and you're impulsive, maybe. And, I'm sure there's a lot of speakers, a lot of performers who are that way, right? Not a lot of accountants, not a lot of, financial advisors. And there's nothing wrong with those people. It's just usually my type of person doesn't gravitate towards that sort of industry. But a lot of entrepreneurs might be this way, and they're struggling and they're frustrated because they can't make stuff work. And maybe, here's the last bit. This is the angle on it. Maybe their business isn't working as well as they'd like. And they're frustrated because they keep trying new systems and it's bugging them and it pisses them off and makes them feel bad. Here's the thing. Throw away those systems that were designed by a different sort of person. Throw them away. And do it the way that comes naturally to you. Wing it. Lean into it. Just try stuff, right? Should you tweet every day? Maybe. Marketing says you should. But should you schedule your tweets? Probably not. Because I found when I put on my calendar that, I should probably tweet every day just so I would remember, I stopped tweeting completely. Because as soon as I have to do it, I don't want to, right? But if you threw away all those structures, even if your business doesn't get any better, you'll be happier. Because you're doing it your way, okay? So quit trying to be Brian Tracy and David Allen, right? Stop trying to be those guys. Be you out loud, full force, lean into it, go. Be positive and futuristic. It'll all work out, and you'll find some magic. And even if your business doesn't do better, your life will be better because you're mad about the way it's going because you hate the systems. You're doing work you don't like and don't want to do and you're not built for. Right? So that's it. That's the call. Gary, you're going to kick us out of here in a second. This is about being, like I said, positive, futuristic, winging it, being an improviser. If you know that person, have them contact me. If you are that person, definitely contact me. We're going to create something different. I want to do a different type of radio show going forward. This isn't going to be a business show. I might not do this show anymore. I might just do a comedy, fun, goofy show, right? Maybe I don't need a business talk show. Maybe I just need a creative outlet. We'll see. We'll figure that out in the next week or two. But for now, this has been Toby Martini with Straight Up with Toby Martini. I've been as straight up with you as I can be for the last year and a half, and we'll see what's coming next. So come and improvise with me. All right, bye-bye. Gary, kick us out. This has been Straight Up with Toby Martini. I hope you enjoyed today's show. If you want to find out more about what I'm up to, you can always find me at tobymartini.com. We'll see you next week.
This program was brought to you by the Internet Broadcasting Organization, setting the standard for new media broadcasting.